Things have gone past the point of no return, as yesterday Elon took things one step too far in a single post on X. And this Trump-Elon fallout has created quite a bit of volatility and panic in the market yesterday, leading to a steep sell-off in crypto and a $155 billion loss just on the day. Now, maybe you're up to date on this recent feud between the two giants, but some folks are speculating that things are going to get worse and that there's more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. But what could that be? And now virtually everyone, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is weighing in as things are getting nastier between the two. And not only were virtually all markets down, but we actually saw the Trump token take a pretty steep loss for a new lower low on the news. And the biggest loser in this situation was actually Elon Musk, his largest holding being Tesla, which actually gapped down and dumped a total of 17% yesterday, closing at about 14% in losses, which loses him billions upon billions of dollars. In other words, this feud is absolutely foolish, both for Trump and for Elon, as markets don't like uncertainty and Trump's economy is going to suffer because of it. And actually, even XRP was down. Actually, everything was down. XRP dumped from $2.20 all the way back down to $2.06, and we are now at crucial ranges yet again, seeing an inside green bar. So what could possibly happen next? Actually, the sell-off in the general markets was so steep that even just in crypto, futures traders on the long side got wiped out to the tune of almost $1 billion, and it's extremely rare that we hit that number. But will the blood continue over the weekend, and could this be the end of the cycle as markets are not getting the much needed support and certainty they need? Well, stay tuned, because in this video we'll dive into this feud and what you might not know that will shock you. And we'll also be covering this video from Senator Haggerty on the latest developments with the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin bill, and if passed, will prop up crypto markets. We'll also be covering price action and some futures data to get a better picture on what day traders are doing. Now, before we dive into the video, you have just a bit of time left before we do our next $100 worth of XRP giveaway, where we announce the winner every single Sunday. So if you want to enter and you have to follow through all the steps, be sure to head on over to Bull Runners HQ first and foremost on X or Twitter. Check out the very last pinned post, and then you have to follow through with these 3 steps. Follow us, 1, like, retweet, and comment XRP. All 3 of those have to be done. And then subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter. And by the way, not everyone follows through with all the steps. Like I said, we only have 51 retweets, yet we have 70 likes, which means the people that liked but didn't retweet are not eligible. So we have to be sure that you do all of the steps. We do double verify, and we do pick a winner at random. Then when you subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter, either way, the value is there, because you're going to get your free ebook right here. You have to enter your email in order to unlock the 23 secrets to becoming a crypto millionaire. We share virtually everything you need to know to pick the next explosive altcoin. So go ahead and do that right now, and you'll have a shot to win $100 worth of XRP. And as always, my friend, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friend. If you're new here, my name is Paul, and you can find me on Twitter or X at PauliDeFi, PAULIEDEFI. This is the tweet that really started it all, and this happened just yesterday around noon, where Elon Musk straight up said, I'm going to drop a really big truth bomb that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, which is the real reason they have not been made public. Definitely one of the most seen posts from Elon Musk, and really created a firestorm of issues where now there is no more speculation. Elon Musk and Trump not only had a falling out, but truly dislike each other. And it's likely because of the news we covered recently, where Donald Trump is approving a really big, beautiful bill that is going to add between $2.5 to $5 trillion of debt to the deficit. Elon Musk was consistently working under Doge to decrease that, to remove all sorts of government government fraud, waste, and abuse. And then Donald Trump goes ahead and supports a bill that doesn't actually solve this problem, but continues to add to our deficit. Now, there's been a lot of people online wondering what really started this. I personally believe that they're just really unhappy with each other because of this bill. However, this woman named Angie basically stated that you have to be low IQ to think Elon is willing to burn all of these bridges just because of a bill. Something big happened, and many people are starting to wonder what truly happened behind the scenes. And in all reality, we may never actually know, but I am going to uncover a bit of evidence on both sides of the ledger so you can make up your own mind and decision about this whole matter. And then we're going to cover the markets and see what is in store over the upcoming weeks and months. So in this situation, after that post from Elon, he actually started doubling down, where he started reposting some things from Trump and his past with Epstein, explaining how Trump flew on Epstein's plane at least 7 times, and he's even called Jeff a terrific guy, which is confirmed. But Trump has done that a lot with a lot of people that have either backstabbed him or maybe he's backstabbed them in the past, and then they're no longer considered a terrific person in his eyes. But truly, I think Elon is just really pissed off about Trump getting behind this bill, which basically negates all of the work he did over at Doge by reposting tweets from Donald Trump before he ever became president back in 2012 and 2013, where Donald Trump straight up said, "I can't believe Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. He's embarrassed. How no member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if the country's budget is not balanced. Deficits are not allowed." Yet Donald Trump is doing that exact thing right now. It seems whenever anyone gets to a very high level of power, deficits no longer matter as long as you can push something through. And so yes, for Donald Trump, this is very contradictory to what he was saying in 2012. I get people change, but this is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not on Team Trump or Team Elon right now. It's just interesting to watch unfold. And because of this whole situation, Elon is doubling down on that 2012 Donald Trump, basically endorsing a hypothetical constitutional amendment that would make members of Congress ineligible for re-election if the federal deficit exceeds 3% of GDP, which we are far beyond. But here is where things get interesting. We have a lot of big names or reporters or even just personalities sharing their take on the Trump-Musk situation and whether or not Elon is truly telling the truth on whether or not Trump actually visited Epstein Island or whether he's on the Epstein files. In this case, Nick Fuentes, which arguably shares some of the most controversial and even racist takes, said there is zero doubt in my mind that Trump is named in the Epstein files. Elon is telling the truth. Let's listen to this video on Fox News a while ago.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
And in all fairness, his response to that one in particular leads me to believe that he probably spent more time with Epstein than he'd like to let on, and that is likely in the past, but it's really interesting how he shared it in that way. And it seems everyone is taking sides, as one criminal lawyer came out and said he was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense 9 days before he died. He sought his advice for months before that, and he can say authoritatively, unequivocally, and definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. And this would kind of make sense considering under the last administration, if anyone was to make the list of the Epstein files that would be released to the public, it would be political enemy number one, Donald Trump. They would have already released at least that much. However, Donald Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, and he is not on the list. If he was, he would have been indicted for it, as he was one of the most politically attacked presidents in history. And what makes things even more interesting is the fact that Trump, being on the Epstein list, if he truly was a pedophile, would probably not be seen hanging out with Elon Musk's son. Elon Musk probably wouldn't have wanted that, but then again, who really knows what's actually happening? All we know is at this point, people are trying to protect their butts and arguably just pick the winning side. There's still much speculation on what truly happened, but I could see Elon Musk pissed about that, and also pissed about the fact that the EV mandate was no longer going to be a thing. As Donald Trump did post on Truth Social, Elon was wearing thin. He asked him to leave and took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, which Elon Musk said he was straight up lying, and then he just went crazy. And the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. He was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So this is Trump's jab and way to get back at Elon. I don't think this would create that much savings in the grand scheme of things when you're doing a $4 to $5 trillion of added money to the deficit. Trump went on and further stated that he doesn't mind Elon turning against him, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If the bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. But one thing I can reasonably say without a shadow of a doubt is that this whole thing is a mess, and markets didn't like it at all. They should have kept this to themselves. They shouldn't have gone out on socials and started to attack each other. Ultimately, this shows volumes of the level of immaturity on both ends. Now, on the good news side of things, before we dive into a bit of price action and futures, is the fact that the Genius Act is going to reshape America's payment system into this new century. Let's have a listen to Senator Bill Hagerty on what he shared.
Yes, those conversations are underway. I certainly respect the process that we're addressing, but right now this really isn't about policy, nor is it process. We're just trying to get floor time right now to get this processed. We have broad agreement, Kaylee, with respect to the content of this stablecoin legislation, My Genius Act. And this is going to, I think, take us into the 21st century in terms of upgrading our payment systems. It's going to have very desirable effects, taking the U.S. economy into the digital assets arena, keeping innovation here, lowering risk here in America, and putting in place guardrails that will protect consumers, because every one of these stablecoins will be backed up dollar for dollar with U.S. treasuries. Very positive outcome here. We've got very strong support.
In other words, literally nobody wins, not even the markets. And inside of Altcoin Pro University, one of our very own professional crypto researchers and analysts shared that Ogle, the advisor to World Liberty Financial, a Trump company, deposited $1 million into Hyperliquid and opened a 10x levered short position against the Trump token. And it seems already they're in profits, as just 4 hours ago, not only did it peak and sell off right around this range, which would be a resistance, but is now down, and likely, because we are now officially in a downtrend on the Trump token, going to truly struggle to make some new highs. If anything, it's likely going to go lower and down to $8. And by the way, this is the type of information that we only share inside of Altcoin Pro University for our members. This is going to be an easier play for the majority of people in this time of uncertainty, as people become more bearish on Trump, arguably more bearish on Elon, and that has showed up in the Tesla stock price. And these types of plays are shared directly for our community members, as we even have our very own Pascal taking another $14,000 in profits on one crypto token that we shared for our community members. Now, in order to get access to this, all you have to do is go to altcoinpro.com, watch this short video if you'd like, and then join. And we have one of the best retention rates in the world when it comes to any crypto platform, because we stand by having the best value, the best tools, the best training, the best researchers, the best everything you need to hit your crypto goals. We have hundreds of hours of classes. We have live calls weekly, about 4 to 5. We have altcoin picks. We teach you to do technical analysis on my Tuesday technical analysis calls, where you can ask me questions live and I can show you everything you need to know to succeed on the charts. We offer all sorts of yields, like quick win DeFi yields that actually help you to pay back your $97 a month. And our goal with these DeFi yield quick wins is to help you to earn your money back on crypto that you're already sitting on in a very safe manner, in order to pay for your monthly membership, so all of the other value is completely free. That said, if you don't within 14 days, go ahead and ask for your refund. But just 11 days ago, we shared this USDC Bitcoin one. In other words, if you're holding literally dollars in Bitcoin, you can take advantage of a 35% APR yearly. In other words, about $3,500 in this pool, in these cryptos, using our training and live videos that show you step by step how to do this, would help you to pay for that membership on a measly $3,500. So that said, go ahead and check it out. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And we're consistently updating everything inside of Altcoin Pro University. We're very active. We have have a very live community. And typically on Tuesdays, I run these calls. But this Monday, because I'll be out of town on the 10th, I'll be hosting that technical analysis call to teach you everything you need to know. So go ahead and join, check it out over the next 14 days, hop into this technical analysis call, which I believe is more than worth the value alone. And with that said, let's dive back into the video. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop on over to CoinGlass. I'm gonna look at liquidations. I'm gonna look at the liquidation map on Bitcoin, and then I'm gonna go to that 7-day time frame just so we have more data. And we can see that right now, more people are actually short to the tune of $8.1 billion, while about $6.25 billion are long. In other words, right now the shorts are in control. If I do this with XRP, there is far less money in XRP than Bitcoin, and that's also just proven by the sheer amount of interest on futures. It's a less liquid market. It's a far smaller market. That said, we do have far more shorts, 210 million versus about 136 million on the long side. So that said, the shorts again are in control, and I do expect markets to continue to drop just a little. And when I come into that hourly time frame and I look at open interest right at the local peak right here at about $105,200 on something like Bitcoin, you can see that Bitcoin right now is starting to decline in the price, and open interest is also starting to decline, which means shorts are opening at the market at the price of about 105. So it's going to be the price to beat for something like Bitcoin. If Bitcoin fails to break above 105, it's likely going to harm the rest of the crypto market and XRP. So with this information in mind, let's go ahead and look at the XRP price action chart. All right, right now is make it or break it time, because if I were to do a bar replay to, let's say, this range right here, you can see that we had our major low come in at about $1.60, and since that point in time, we were in a strong intermediate term uptrend. This was our low, then we had a new high, a new low, a new high, and so this right above this range right here of about 218 was our resistance to beat. When we beat that, yes, we had a slight breakdown, but a new higher low and a new higher high. This is what you consider an uptrend. Let me go ahead and remove those drawings. Because we were in an uptrend, we actually needed to break or stay above the 260 range, even if we experienced a retrace. And I was actually waiting for that for quite some time, but it never actually came in. And if anything, this price action has actually just been getting hammered, and now we are back below our support right here of about 212, and we were supported one last time at 208. So if XRP fails to be supported here, and based on just the current price action, based on the fact that volume slightly increased, and not by a ton, we're still well below average, leads me to believe that we are in our final range of support. And if we do not hold this range or do not see some bullish momentum here in the very near future, things on XRP are likely going lower, and that this would truly be a downtrend where we're going to experience at least $1.50 on the price. And that's not me trying to be a bear. It's just the fact that the price action doesn't look good, and neither does the macro outlook. So although I'm very bullish long term, we might actually see new lower lows on Bitcoin and XRP in the near future. Even just looking at those EMAs, we saw a crossover on the 10 and 20, and we actually got resistance on that 20 EMA, which is the orange line. And just the fact that we put in a new lower low right here on this one red day, the fact that we have an inside green candle that is failing to break for a new high above 222, and the fact that now we are back below what should have been a range support right here at 225 and saw a sell off once and twice right here with resistance, leads me to believe that we're definitely going lower. And lower would likely take us to at least 179 or 180, and potentially a new lower low for 150. But this is not looking too hot for XRP right now, especially as Bitcoin is struggling to maintain those range highs. So if anything, I am not dip buying. I'm not adding to positions. I'm waiting to see what happens next. If I'm going to be buying Bitcoin, it's going to be down here at the lows or back above the 225 to 230 range. That's where I'll be a buyer of XRP. But right now, I've got to practice patience because I'm not liking the price action. And I think it's more likely that we're now going lower with the developments of that Trump and Elon feud. And that's it for the video, folks. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also check out altcoinpro.com to get access to our library that is consistently being added to of all sorts of things like strategies and guides on when to sell and when to buy, yield-bearing stable coins, how to trade pairs, how to trade futures, how to do DeFi and have XRP wallets that are hot. Go ahead and check it out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, my friend. Goodbye.